Hello, live from the social room at Foreman High School. It's Mr. Lewis and Mr. Miller. Today, we got some fortune cookies. So, we're going to check out our fortunes here. So, my first one says, an upward movement initiated, hard to read, in time can counteract fate. Boy, these get hard when you're old.
I guess.
Wow.
I have
I'm gonna go for
I
a
have
different one. I'm
I have a
not sure what
lot
that
to look
means.
forward to.
That's what yours says?
No, I
Oh.
will. You will always be surrounded by good friends. That's why I have you.
Wow, mine's complicated. Wait, I gotta try this again. That one was so bad. All right, I'm gonna let the youngster read it. Mr. Lewis?
Many receive advice, only the wise profit from it.
True. All right, very good. So today, our data is fortune cooking data.
All right.
So there's data everywhere.
Yeah, this
So,
this had to have led to something.
yeah, Hong Kong buffet. Lots of data there. All right, so there were data collected from fortune cookies from two restaurants, from Shang Pen Restaurant and the Golden Bowl. And the messages in the cookies were divided into categories. Wisdom, and here's an example. A new friend helps you break out of an old routine. Then there are ones that are advice, suggesting you do something, like be calm and collected. Peace is a virtue. I like that one. And the last one is prophecy. A distant relative will phone you soon.
Oh.
All right,
Please
so,
no.
and then there are some miscellaneous ones that didn't fit well into those categories. So that's our two-way table. On the left, we have the restaurant, and up top, we have the type of fortune. And we want to know, does it make a difference? Which restaurant we go to?
All right. So, if the answer is yes, then we say there is an association between the variables, or they are not independent of each other. Okay? So, there's a connection between these two categorical variables. If the answer is no, then we say that the variables are independent. In our example, that would mean that the distribution of fortunes is the same for both restaurants, and it doesn't really matter which one we go to.
I got it. And this is the main point of our unit. So comparing two groups and seeing if it matters which group we are looking at. Okay.
Okay, so let's find out if there is association. So we want to find the conditional distributions of the type of fortune. So if we look at the Shang Pin restaurant, figure out there are 16 prophecies, 34 advice, 49 wisdom, and then 4 were in the miscellaneous category. All right, so if we made it relative frequency, that would be 15%, 33%, 48%, and 4%.
We got the pen going?
We do.
What's this? Ooh, red. Okay, so today's color is red. So this was the conditional distribution for Shang Pen. Okay, now we want to find it for Golden Bowl.
Okay, Golden Bowl. Bam.
Wow, that was quick, man. We know you guys did that already, are good at that, so you can find conditional distributions. But this was for the second row. Okay, next.
No, it wasn't, actually.
Oh, it says find out if there's an association.
I think we obviously made a typo. I think this is supposed to be 15.
Wow. We
Here,
changed the
we'll
other
just
slide.
mark
Go
it
to
in.
the next slide.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Hey, man, you are so fast at fixing that.
All right, so here we go.
Okay.
Didn't realize it occurred two places. So here are the conditional distributions. Now, it's very helpful if we look at a graph. We'll do that in a second. But we can tell from the table. The first row, the Shang Pen has 15% prophecies and Golden Bowl 16%. That's not a big difference. So it's within 1 or 2%. That's not very different. But when we look at advice, Shang Pen has 33% compared to Golden Bowl, 23%. That is significant. That's more than a couple percent. Then if you look at wisdom, Shang Pen has 48% messages are wisdom, while Golden Bowls is 57%, which is a 9% difference. So it says, are these distributions different? And yes, they are different, and that means there's an association. So the answer to both of these is yes. It makes a difference. It's not independent.
All right, as Mr. Miller said, the graphs are also very helpful when looking at this. As we can see in our segmented bar graph, the green advice column is much bigger for Shang Pen than it is for the Golden Bowl. As with the wisdom column, is a little more at Golden Bowl than it is in Changpin. We can also look at the bar graphs side by side. You can see, though prophecy and miscellaneous are about the same, there is a remarkable difference in advice and pretty decent difference in wisdom as well.
So there is an association. It does make a difference which restaurant.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
So one last point about this, you should be comfortable with making both types of graphs. So segmented bar graphs or side-to-side bar graphs. And on the AP exam, sometimes you're given the option of whichever one you want or you think is easier to do. All right, next.
All right.
So we want to make sure that we're getting good at identifying what we're looking for in graphs. Mr. Lewis, would you read the prompts?
Sure. Students in 2 different high schools were asked if they would classify themselves as scholars, athletes, or social butterflies. I have a lot of those in my 8th period. They were also asked to identify themselves as male or female. Here's the association between personality types and gender. So if you look at high school A, they're pretty much very similar between both sexes. The males and females have about the same scholars as athletes as butterflies. So we would say that would be an example of an independent.
Right, it's independent of gender, so it doesn't matter which gender you look at that high school. All right, high school B.
All right, high school B, we can see that there is a remarkable difference. Way more males say that they are athletes than females, which then skews the other data for females to be a little more in scholars and a little more as social butterflies. So that would probably be an association.
It is. There's an association. So this is not independent, and we say there's an association, like a pattern.
All
Okay.
right.
So that's what we're looking for in the graph.
Okay, now it's your guys' turn.
Already?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, this came quick
We
today.
are getting fast.
I know.
All right, so a group of 12th grade boys and girls were asked whether or not they wear bicycle helmets when they ride their bikes, as you all should. The results are shown in a 2-way table. Variables of this problem are wears a helmet and then gender. So if you look at the graph below, we kind of labeled it out for you guys. And then your assignment would be to find the relative conditional distribution of wears a helmet for the boys. Okay, we should be good at that from our last slide or video. Second, find the corresponding distribution of the girls. And then display the distribution side by side in a graph. Now, do we want to do it in a specific graph or can they choose?
Take your pick.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you can either use the bar graph side by side or you can use the segmented bar graph, whatever you find is easiest. All right, and then decide whether or not there's an association between whether you wear a helmet and what sex you are or gender. And then state your conclusion in complete sentences. What are we in English class now?
No Melcon, but communicate your thought. No, yes, no, or just independent association. Say it in a sentence. Okay,
All right, so see you guys tomorrow.
good luck.